Hey, how's it going? I feel like it's been a while. It kind of has. The internet's back up. There's a story behind that. For a while, just about every other night I would stream. I'd be dropping frames. It was pretty bad. You know, felt like I was trying to keep the plane going. But it was going down. It was no good. Keep the ship sailing. But there was a hole in it. It was dropping frames, man. It's crazy. Taking the water, going down. Well, now it's good. At least I hope anyway. And the reason why I say I hope is because a technician was supposed to come out today, but a technician did not come out today, and I didn't receive a text message or a call or anything about it. I guess I should have been proactive and called me like, hey, what happened to the guy? But work happens, and I was more focused on that. And I don't know about you with your line of work, but with my line of work, when you have to do things, it's like 100% focus, and I really cannot be distracted with anything else. That includes personal matters. It's horrible. I hate that. I hate that aspect of my job. But things are working. Maybe someone did go out. Maybe they went out to whatever terminal my Xfinity connects to, and they fixed something there. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. But what I can say is that the upload speed is stable and great. It's at a 6. I'll take a 6. 6 megabits per second. That's all I need. That's all I need for this show. That's all I need for my 90 shooters, my Boomer shooters, my Duke 3D, my Ion Fury. I love that game. There's an add-on coming out later on this year. I'm going to get that. I'll play that. If there's some more maps, more user-made maps, I'd play that on the stream for the handful of people that like that game. I love that game. I think that game's great. Anyway. I'm back. I'm streaming. And this is good. I need this. Like, this chilling, streaming with you guys is, I know for the small people that watch, for the handful of people that watch, that's all really matters. I don't do this for a lot of people. I don't do this for like a huge crowd. I never did, right? As you can tell, I do this. Why do I do this? Because it's good for me. I like just being able to fire up a stream and talk about whatever's on my mind. Also, of course, the things that you guys are interested in. Okay, I always put that out there. Hey, what do you want me to talk about? Challenge me on something. And some people were mentioning things like USS Liberty, which is something I heard of vaguely. But when I started reading into it on a live stream, it's like, oh, wait a second. There's a lot here. If you don't know what USS Liberty is, you look into it. Look into it, okay? Look into it and start asking questions, and don't be afraid of any sort of labels or stigmas that people will throw at you, okay? But I want to talk about cigars. I want to talk about cigars. I want to talk about health. I want to talk about COVID as well. What do they all have to do together? Oh, they have a lot. They have a lot, actually. More than you know. First off. No surprise here. If you've been following this, I like the occasional cigar. About one a day. And tonight I'm sipping on, this is actually Silver Star Texas Honey liquor. It's honey whiskey. It's good. I mean, no problems. I've tried it before. It's better than the better than the Jack Daniel's one. The honey's pretty pronounced. Like you taste that. It's like honey with a bite. Do I prefer it? No, I actually prefer the regular whiskey. But sadly, I'm out of it. I need to go to a liquor store. Maybe tomorrow. Probably not, because work has picked up in an insane way. I don't know when I'm going to get a break. It's just a pocket of time here and there. I don't even know. Man, I was out to I didn't get home till 10 o'clock last night. I was like, well, oh man. All right. Anyway, the cigar I want to fire up here tonight is Black Abyss. I have not had this before. Okay. We could talk a little bit about this cigar here. This is my first time smoking on this one here. Let's see. This Black Abyss cigar. This is a Robusto. A 5x50. It has two bands. Okay, I already took this one off. Okay, we don't need that one. That's just for decoration. This is what it looks like. Okay. Small. Easy. Should be pretty easy to smoke within an hour. Okay. They call this the Banshee. Let's see. Let's see if it seems kind of off-putting. Why would I want to smoke a Banshee? Is it gonna scream? Is it gonna be annoying? But we'll see. We'll see how it tastes. Let's see, what can I tell you about this cigar here? Well, I believe the tobacco here comes from Nicaragua. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at here. The Dominican Republic, actually. Dominican Republic. Okay. All right. It says that it's going to have a full strength, but we'll see that. We'll test that out. Definitely, for sure. Maduro shade in the wrapper. Okay. And let's see. This is produced by Jose Blanco, who's a famed master blender responsible for the highly rated either in aging room blends. So if you like those, you'll definitely like this. And it's pretty cheap. Pretty affordable, I would say. A pack of 5 would cost you, if you go to JR Cigars, which they might as well just promote me since I'm promoting them, would cost you $24.50. Actually, sorry. That's the retail price. The JR price would be $17.70. Look at that. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. I mean, if you go hit up a Specs or a Total Wines or whatever cigar store you go, you probably spend $5, $6, $7 on a basic cigar. Maybe you spend $10 on one that you really want to cherish. If you have the money, maybe you go $15 on one. The most I spent on one cigar was, I think, $17, and the cigar was this. The cigar was this, but it was really, really good, and it was made in Texas. it was like, what? Oh, I see OBS is dropping frames. So here we are again. It's red, but it's not. The stream quality isn't dropping to where it's just gonna be absolute crap. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills over here. I feel like I'm constantly dealing with this internet tech issue, and it's like maybe it works whenever it wants to, and it doesn't work whenever it wants to. So it's like the singing frog thing, if you know what I'm talking about. You know, tiny Looney Tunes. Not Tiny Tunes. So the cigar has a decent. This cigar has a decent taste right from the bat. Okay, just wet in a little bit to punch it. All right. Now you know what? Let's go match. Let's light this up with a match. Oh. Let's light this baby up with a match. And let me know how the stream is looking. Alright, I'm lighting it now. I might need another match for that. This contraption. It's in the way. All right. Get it all nice and lit. You're not You don't need to puff on it to light it up. You shouldn't need to. For proper cigar etiquette, if you care. If this isn't working, I'll just light it up. Well, it looks good so far. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's nice. That is a nice full flavor right there. This is sort of cigar. Being a Maduro, these go really well with coffee. I mean, they really go well with that. Yeah. There's a little sweetness to this. Now, the sweetness is nothing compared to this one. I really enjoyed this one. This is actually one of my favorites. And you can't see it because of the glare. And I'm not going to wrap it yet. Insidious by Asylum. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my prefers. Only because it's sweet. It's the sweet that I like, but not too sweet. This, there's a little sweetness in the taste in the tobacco. Okay, now I like my cigar. You might like your cigar, or maybe you don't like your cigar. That's fine. My wife obviously doesn't. You ask any guy who smokes cigars, their wife probably hates it. Probably hates it. Right. But here's the thing. I tell my wife, like, hey, it's my vice. It's my thing that I do. All right, I smoke about like one a day, maybe two a day if I'm really feeling it. Right. It's my vice. Whatever. I'm not inhaling. You'll say, oh, it's not healthy for you. Well, actually, to be that guy, nicotine does have some health benefits. Oh, I don't know about health benefits, but does have benefits to it. Actually, health benefits. Nicotine straight up, without tobacco, with ingested, has, benefits for your brain, for the aging of your brain. Being able to store and recall memories. This has been shown in studies. Of course, they'll say, but it has to be taken purely because they don't want, the tobacco, other ingredients to be, part of that mix. But the reality is, if you take it directly, and that's what nicotine does, then of course it's going to do the same thing if you get it through, let's say, a cigar. And true, you're not inhaling the cigar. Of course, you're smelling it, right? The tobacco is around you, like on a good stream. When I'm firing this up just right, you could see the smoke, right? It's great. It's great. I love that. Like that right there. That's good. That is good. Let's see. Oh, the other benefit though. Oh, well, let's go with nicotine. Yeah, sure, nicotine raises your blood pressure or increases your blood pressure a bit, but that's not always a bad thing. It can actually kind of like ease your tension away. It can actually make you less anxious. It can actually calm you. It's weird how that works, but it does. Can calm you in a way. Increase your heart rate, shit, and then up blood pressure. Sorry, my bad. I misspoke there. Increase your heart rate, which increases the speed of sensory information. So, okay, that's cool. Processing things faster. The other thing is really taking, setting the tobacco or sort of the nicotine aside. Just cigars are not something you smoke real fast and be done with. This is something you smoke and you're just chilling, you're relaxing, You're soaking in the environment. You're pondering about things. You're thinking about things. You know, it's just, it's like meditation. It is like meditation, but more practical. And without the hallucinogens. Come on now. Come on. There's people who meditate on huaqua, whatever that's not what you call it. Or people who meditate on magic shrooms. Come on now. Are you meditating? Are you just having like enjoying some crazy inner show fireworks or whatever, some inner freak show thing? I mean, come on. Inner light show. That's what you're enjoying. Anyway, but you know what? Your thing is your thing, right? Right. But yeah, a good cigar, good whiskey. Those are things that, to me, add just extra value to life. And maybe that seems like whatever to you. It's like, are you kidding about that? No, I'm not. Like, a good cigar is something that really calms me down. It really soothes me. I can't really explain it. It's like another level. Do I have to have it in that I'm addicted? Well, there's a certain habit. Like when I sit in this chair and I'm streaming, I want a cigar because I'm in the habit of smoking a cigar while streaming. I also either want to play games or but I can't play video games when I'm smoking a cigar. You know, so it's like, okay, well, I'd rather actually smoke a cigar than play video games. You know, I'd rather just do this. Smoke a cigar, talk a little bit, talk some shit, have a drink, have a good time. So really, in the future of this channel, the video games I might play might be more role-playing games or something where I can have more pause in between. Shit, I actually was thinking about going old school and playing more like old school arcade games, but I don't know about that. We'll see. Things where I'll be really, really focused in the moment, but you know, you die real fast in those games, and plenty of time to have a break and take a couple puffs. And when I say like a cigar is something you smoke or something you enjoy with heavy pondering, I'm not joking about that. When you fire up a cigar and you smoke that thing, you are taking time. I mean, first off, it's something that's going to take about an hour, maybe 2 hours. A friend of mine, he had this cigar he got from the convenience store that's like this freaking long. It's like, dude, that's like a 5-hour cigar. I was like, Yep, I just got off work. In 5 hours, I'm going to enjoy. It's all right, man. This is really good. This is not a bad cigar, especially for the price. Now we'll see if the binding holds up, you know. This was stored not in a humidor because my humidor is full. It was stored in this box here, but it does have one of those packets. So it should be fine. That's why I'm going through this batch first, because it may not last as long as the babies down in humidor. Oh yeah, Alucard PG mentioned in the chat they are a hunger suppressant as well, which is going to help me because I do want to lose this weight. I do. I told my wife, she thought it was stupid. I am going to pretty much put myself on a water fast. Either a combination of water fast or just cut out the carbs. So, you know, I pretty much was doing that, started that this morning, or yeah, today, pretty much eating nothing but meat. So, but then I messed up because it's my son's pre-birthday, and I had a piece of cake. Damn it. But you know. See, like, what I'm doing right now, it might sound kind of scatterbrained or rambling or just thinking about various things that may be connected, may not really be connected. Honestly, that's what I do when I'm smoking a cigar by myself, but just internally. Like, my mind is just kind of going to things, and, you know, I'm thinking about life, thinking about, you know, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a parent. Am I doing well? You know, and how are things going on, you know, with my son or with my daughter? Are things going well between me and my wife? Am I being the husband that I ought to be for her? You know, I think about work things. God forbid that comes up, because that sometimes does sort of try to challenge the mellow. But however, like I said, a good cigar will always overcome that and be like, you know, that drama at work, you know, that situation that I know is coming, I know I have to take care of, I'm ready for it. I start really analyzing and thinking about the various ways I could tackle a problem, you know what I'm saying? Tackle an issue, tackle a problem, and how I'm going to confront certain people, how I'm going to deliver bad news to certain people, how I'm going to navigate certain situations. All thought out. And sometimes think, you know, of course, I think about the streaming stuff. You know, what am I going to talk about? Gee, I have no idea. But do you ever know what you're going to talk about? You used to just fire up these streams, just talk about whatever, not even knowing. But now you want to know what you want to talk about? Come on, what are you, the drunken peasants over here? Can have a show and show things? You know, segments. Be a one-man drunken peasants. You're gonna be a David Stay, and have episodes. Have it be episodic. Maybe one day, I don't know. Really? I want this to be real and genuine. Yet, of course, I wear these shades. I wear this hoodie. This is good. This is good. So people say, oh, you shouldn't smoke a cigar because it's not healthy for you. All right. So you want to tell me I can't enjoy this because it's not healthy for me? I understand that there's maybe some health issues. I've seen the studies but also even with the FDA, it's like just one or the occasional cigar really doesn't increase, like cancer and all that by that much. It's not that significant. If you smoke like one or two every day, you smoke two every day, then maybe if you smoke two every day, it does increase the chance of morbidity, or like what did it say? It does increase the chance that the likelihood that you may develop, cancer or whatever, but it's not always the case, right? Not always the case. Especially compared with cigarettes. But, whatever. But at the same time, though, I don't really care. And I'll tell you why I don't care. There have been studies out there saying that you can't eat meat because meat gives you cancer. Or you shouldn't eat meat because meat gives you cancer. But I love a plate of fajitas. Are you telling me? Are you going to try to convince me, a gringo, to not eat fajitas for health? If you were to tell me that if I were to eat that plate of fajitas, that sizzling pan of fajitas, that I would have a cardiac arrest, I'd be like, well, my life insurance policy is up to date. These better be some fucking good fajitas. Because that's it, son. That's it. And I mean that. And you know what? I've met vegans that would say they're vegan. All this stuff. But you put a plate. You test their with what's the word I'm looking for? Resolve. He tested Resolve with sizzling barbecue, sizzling fajitas. Oh God. There's just, you start smelling, you're like, oh. You see the vegans are like, okay. Well, the animal's already dead. It'd be in vain if I don't eat it. Okay, just. It's like, okay, you want to eat that vegan pizza, or do you want to have some fajitas? What do you want? I mean, I don't. Like, I understand. Like, you gotta care about your health to a certain to a certain extent. But it's to a certain extent, because there's certain things we do in life that are worth doing regardless of the health risks. Look, a life without cigars is not a life worth living. A life without Mexican food is a life not worth living. A life without sex. There's plenty of health risks with sex. Is a life not worth living. You know? A life without guns is a life not worth living. And there's health risks with guns. You know? It's come on now. Come on. Like, yeah, there's gonna be things that could cause I don't know, some concerns, risk, safety concerns, but what are you, a child? You need society to be your parent, to be like, okay, well, you can't do that because it's not good for your health. The same people, our government, let's just say the U.S. government here, the U.S. government will do things for your safety and concern, but yet they'll put out stuff like, say, like the food pyramid that promotes carbs, bread, grains, which that bread and grains, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but bread and grains is the reason why that, and high fructose corn syrup is a lot of the reason why we got obesity in this. It's part of the problem. Those ingredients are not healthy, especially in large doses. Carbohydrates. Why is it when people cut out carbs from their diet and just eat meat and they start losing weight real fast? It's in the grains. You know, I was watching a documentary why Egyptians were fat. Egyptian statues. I don't know if you paid attention, but they have, like, you know, little bitch titties. They do. Did they have a lot of high fat foods? No. They had a lot of bread. A lot of grains, a lot of vegetables. But aren't vegetables good? Well, yeah, they are. Because, I mean, you get fiber, but too much fiber is not good for you. In fact, you really don't need to eat all that much fiber. I mean, if you eat what fiber is going to do, fiber is not digestible. You know, your body struggles to digest it. So if you eat too much of it, you're really just going to. Look, my point is, the people that are pushing that stuff, the people that are promoting that stuff, they have you convinced that it's for your best, in your best interest that they're doing it, right? But it's not. It's not. You could live your life, not smoke a cigarette, not smoke a cigar because, oh my God, it might give you cancer. But you could follow the health advice from your doctor. Eat more, I don't know, eat more bread. You know, just stick with the grains thing. You know, that'd be fine. And you might wonder why you have a high glucose problem. Okay. Or your doctor says, hey, you know, for your feelings, for your depression, all that, you might want to take this medication, which may not be what you really need, but hey, you take it, and you start feeling worse, and, you know, look, follow your doctor's advice. That's all I can tell you. Don't listen to me. I'm not a doctor, but there's a reason why they say suicide is a side effect for those drugs. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with those things, okay? I'm not belittling mental health issues with that, but I'm just being real. You gotta be very careful with that stuff. See, Alucard PG says, if you like Maduros, try Romeo and Juliet 1825. I thought I did try that. No, I don't think that was a Maduro. All the cigars I try on stream. So I don't think that was a Maduro. No, that was not. That was a think that was a reserve. Let's see. He goes, cigars are a great way to make friends. I make a lot of friends during my college days because I smoke with my classmates at the cigar bar, right? It's great. It's great. And right now, I think it's just us right now in the chat, which is fine, perfectly fine. That's why I do these. That's why I do this, Like, I could talk about Ethan Ralph right now and probably bring in more people. But fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. I said it before, like, I don't want to make my content solely about Ethan Ralph. But if you want to know what happened, it wasn't a trial date, okay? And the court doesn't have, the court decided it doesn't have jurisdiction, and it was moved over to, oddly enough, it was moved to a juvenile court. It's a juvenile / family court thing. So they're taking it. All right. Interesting. We'll see what happens with that. But also, I don't care. The honey whiskey is okay. But honestly, I'd rather have real whiskey right now. I do have to get some more. But yeah, my point about the health benefits of smoking cigars is that, people be like, oh, there's no health benefits at all. Oh, it's unhealthy. Why are you doing that? It's hurting yourself, whatever. But of course, you could look at like anecdotal examples and be like, okay, well, explain this. Like, what's his name? I think his name is Overturn. Let's see. He was a 109-year-old man. Overton. Overton. He was a cigar smoker. He died at 112. When he was smoked, let's see, a veteran, and he would smoke 12 cigars a day. You might have seen this guy. He was kind of circling a little bit on the internet. He's the guy he would say that the secret to life is cigars, God, and I think he said whiskey. I think he said scotch or whiskey, which, yeah, those three things, yeah, that could do you well. Ah, man. But the guy lived to be 109, actually to 112 before he died, and he smoked like, what, 10 cigars a day? Okay. Even if he died, I don't know how he died. I don't know what his cause of death is, but if it was cancer, that's 112. Pfft, that's longer than I want to live. 80. That's it. That's what, I cut it off. 80's the furthest I will. Like, if I don't want to have to wear Depends, I don't want to have to wear adult diapers. If I could be an old senile man at the park that flicks kids off and gets away with it because I'm old and senile, it'd be great. But we don't live in that world anymore. If an old man flicks kids off in the park, now they beat him up and the cops don't arrest him because whatever. Because they're probably, cops don't want to mess with it. Maybe the kids are black. I have no idea. But they don't want to mess with it. So, 80 years old. I see bourbon goes good with Maduros as well. Yep. Knob Creek. That's a good choice. That is a good choice. Like I said, I will have to go get some more whiskey. Maybe, honestly, it's probably gonna be Saturday. Man, I'm gonna be working on Sunday as well. Sunday morning. I hate doing that. I'm not really a religious man. I go to church when I have to, which is most of the time. Why do I do that? I kind of set an example for my kids. It kind of, because I don't mind. I actually kind of like going. Get a peace of mind. But I don't like workout Sunday because it's like, man, I just want to rest. I just want to chill, you know? And I'll use that religious excuse, oh, it's a day of rest. Whatever. Now when you're the friendly neighborhood Fed, they have you doing stuff. Jokes aside about the Fed stuff, the neighborhood Fed stuff. I mean, that's that's not really what I do, but I am worried, kind of, about what's going to happen in the near future when the CIA and the FBI start looking into Americans, screening them for being terrorists because they supported Trump in the past or something. I mean, not to bring up Trump, not to bring up politics. It's just, it's something that's on my mind. It's like, wow, man, I hope that doesn't happen. But you see them already wanting to screen the military for white supremacy. And people on Reddit will cheer, be like, good, that's a good thing. Not knowing that white supremacy is pretty much anymore a blanket term. I mean, come on, they try to call the people who bought GameStop stock white supremacists. Come on. It's a label. It's a smear. It's just a tactic to use to dehumanize the people you don't like so you can just tear them down. Alec RPG asks, does anyone ever want to live over 100? No, I don't think so. And the thuggy, he chimed in with a reason why I went to the other court, some weird state thing. Yeah. And from what I heard is that those records aren't easily accessible online, but you could call in to get those records if you want. But, I mean, I guess you could say you're a journalist or whatever, or pose as something. That would be fraudulent, though. That'd be illegal. Just but that doesn't matter. Someone on the Kiwi farm is already going to do that. Really, at the end of the day, honestly, with the Ethan Ralph stuff, the lesson to learn from Ethan Ralph of the Kill Stream is don't release a sex tape. Don't release a sex tape, okay? Look, if you're getting the pussy and ass you can get and whatever, I mean, also don't groom 17-year-olds either, but not a good look, not a good thing to do. Very wrong. Very wrong. Yeah, I don't like the guy, don't get me wrong. But whatever happens to him, it doesn't change my life any. It doesn't affect my life any. And it doesn't affect your life any either. We got to think about it. We got to be real about the situation. We got to be real. It might add value to your life in some enjoyment, depending what happens to him. But that's not really what the stream is about. Take your shirt off, Stone Mexican guy. I'm feeling a little hot right here. I am. I think the temperature in this garage, I think it's related to the amount of donations I receive. So right now I'm actually cold. Based on that logic. I don't know, Stone Mexican guy. You might have to convince me. Look at that. I'm a whore. Prove me wrong. Look, about cigars. The FDA right here. Let's see. The FDA report shows that smoking up to 2 cigars a day is associated with minimal significant health risks. Minimal. Okay. They'll say cigars are not a safe alternative to cigarettes, but I don't care. And I don't care if lead to lung cancer or heart disease. I don't care about that either. I don't care about that. And like I said, for the same reason why if someone were to tell me that eating steak, eating sirloin, eating brisket, that could lead to cancer, I'd be like, well, god damn. Then that must be God's way, balancing the good with the bad. Shit. I don't know, son. I mean, you tell me eat that brisket, eat that ribeye, have filet mignons, that I'm going to get heart disease and shit, then fuck, bring it. You know, season that shit too. Marinate that shit. You know? Okay. Imagine living a long life. That's like all you could eat is like tofu and like super healthy things like kale. Oh, you know what's interesting too? There's people that like the very active people that run a whole lot. You know, you say running's good for your health. Yeah, sure, running's good for your health, good for your cardio. But is it good for your knees? Running is not good for your knees. There you go. It puts wear and tear on your knees. Puts wear and tear on your shins if you have shin splints. Jeez, like me. You know? Sure, it's a lot healthier than smoking a cigar. I'll give you that. But I mean, come on now. You're doing something you like doing, something that has health benefits that you enjoy. But even that kind of fucks you up a little bit. I mean, you don't see us going, hey, running's not good for your knees. Maybe we should restrict running. Maybe we should ban running. Maybe we should make running hard to do and give it a stigma because it hurts you. Or people who lift weights, they lift way past their weight and they blow out their arm. Freaking tear their arm. Break their arm, you know? What about that? What about deadlifting? Of course, we're talking about outliers or whatever. But, you know, that stuff happens. You know? I don't really care. No. I don't care what other people do throughout their life, in their life. I don't care what they do. I don't care if what they engage in, let's say, what are sort of recreational thing or whatever they do to relax. I don't care if it has like health, but if it damages their health one way or the other, right? I don't care about that. I mean, if someone wants to shoot up heroin as their pastime activity, well, I disavow. I think that would be damaging to him and to his family and to the people around him. And I do think that where libertarians would say that, you know, it's a victimless crime, like something like heroin, it can, in society or areas, especially societies where it's allowed and encouraged, can have a sort of impact on the society around it. When you see that in areas like in Seattle and Portland, whatever, you're going to see a lot more in Portland, but since all drugs are pretty much legal now, where when people start using those sort of drugs in mass, you see what happens to them, man. They don't really function. It has an effect on society. But at the end of the day, you know, bringing it back down to the individual level, I don't care. I just don't care. You know, what I wouldn't want that person to do is be driving while under the influence. But, you know, usually bums don't drive. Another lesson is don't have a career you can't leave. DSP logic. Right. Don't have a career you can't leave. Dark Side Phil is never going to retire from his job. There is no retirement plan for him. There's no retirement plan for streamers, and that might be something he might cry about. He's going to be doing that when he's like 70. He's going to be doing that when he's fucking 80. You know? If he's smart, which he's not, But if he's smart, he would be putting some money aside in a certain account just for him. At this point, he might as well play stocks and build that account up, because he's gonna need a nest egg to retire on. Yeah, a la carte PG, I agree. Those that enjoy it are usually pretty chill. Those who don't, those who despise it are assholes. Yeah, I mean, it's just about everyone's wife. They just don't like the smell. They don't like the smell. And I could say that the smell in some of these, it smells great when I'm smoking it. But when I smell, and when it gets into the house, I'm like, oh man, it does smell like kind of like a bowling alley in here. Let's spray some Febreze in this shit. But when it's lit, when you're smoking it, it's good. It's enjoyable. Now, what does this have to do with COVID? Because I have that on the headline. You might think, oh, Mr. Deadman's gone crazy. He's just putting stuff in there for training purposes, whatever. No, there's something about tobacco use and COVID that I need to say or read. Make sure that I'm not making this up. Okay? I got to be careful here. Got to be careful. Like I care. Smokers are hospitalized less often for COVID-19. That is a fact. That is a WebMD fact. Put that in your pipe and smoke that shit. There you go. Yeah. You heard that? WebMD says smokers hospitalized less often for COVID-19. So go out and buy yourself a pack of smokes. Go out and get yourself some spirits, American spirits. Go do that. Get your American tobacco. Smoke that. Oh, try a cigar. Might as well. I do recommend, if you could try a cigar, I do highly recommend the Insidious by Asylum. It's one of my favorites. As a starter, you can't go wrong. Oh, man, it's great. Hey, guys, I'm just reporting what I'm reading here. Smokers hospitalized less often for COVID-19. Of course, when I say do this stuff, I'm saying within your age limit. If you are underage, then you wait your turn, okay? Because the government has decided that if you smoke before you're 18, it's much more worse for you, apparently. I think now they changed it to 21. I'm not sure. I don't know. Then again, I don't pay attention to that. But it's funny, right? Oh, no, you can't smoke cancer sticks until you're 18. Why? Because we said so. Because it's bad for your health. And we want you to think about it. I mean, have you seen the shit that the kids eat at school? Have you seen this shit that's in their fucking school food? All the carbs in their school food that are making them fat. You say the kids can't smoke cigarettes until they're 18, but they can go buy a Happy Meal with a double meat, triple cheese, with extra fries. How about we stop pretending? How about we stop pretending and tell the people who clench their pearls to go fuck themselves? You know. I mean, we're talking about tobacco. We're talking about it. You could smoke a cigarette while you drive. You could smoke a cigarette while you walk around. It doesn't have any effect. It's not gonna make you drunk. It's not gonna make you fucking crazy. Oh, but it hurts your lungs. It hurts your lungs. And they cause strain. If you want to go to the argument, cause strain on healthcare because of lung cancer and all that stuff, well, so does obesity. And we could blame McDonald's, and you can also blame the food pyramid for that shit. Blame Olive Garden with their endless, bottomless breadsticks. So, Mr. Deadman, I support the right for kids to be able to smoke cigarettes and cigars at the age of any age. Toddlers. I want babies to smoke cigarettes. I mean, I pretty much did secondhand, and look at me. Hey, you did too, probably. When I was a kid, I went to the bowling alley quite a bit with my parents. Come on, everyone was smoking there. Shit, and I was transported without a car seat, because back then car seats weren't a fucking thing. A car seat? What's that? Yeah, they make you have to wear a car seat until you're 12. Oh my god, that's a rant. Car seats. That's a fucking rant. They seem like they would be really easy to put in. They're easy until they're not. Until they're put in too tight. And you're like, why the fuck? Who installed this car seat? Why did they use the extra latches? Depending on your state, where I'm at, seatbelt's just fine with the car seat. I'll get into that in a whole other stream. Yeah, I'm telling you, the kids eat like shit out of the car, PG. You're saying, they say the kids can't smoke cigarettes because it's bad for their health. But they could go to McDonald's, get the Happy Meal. They could go to Jack in the Box. They could go to the quarter store, get as many bags of Takis that they could get. There's no one stopping. And they could drink the Red Bulls. They could drink the Monsters. They could drink the energy drinks. They could drink the soda, all that stuff. I sound like an old man complaining about that stuff, but I'm actually saying that they can do that. No one's stopping them. I'm not saying stop them from doing that. I'm saying, hey, why restrict? Just let it be. Just let it be. Of course, I'm talking about cigarettes. Now we're talking about other things like meth or heroin, some shit. I would have a totally different stance. Totally different stance. I do, actually. I used to think that stuff. I used to think like drug use was like a victimless crime, and like it didn't really affect anybody except for the person using it. Until I read an article, I think a couple years ago. This is actually an old article. It was, where was this at? It was someplace South America, and they were setting up actually for an Olympic. I think it was on NPR that they published the article. I forgot what country it was, but they had an issue where they had a problem with meth use to the point to where the drug dealers, the meth dealers, actually stopped dealing meth because it was destroying the community too much. It had destroyed everything. I mean, it's very rare that you find an article like that. It's very rare, right? I could not find another one. But, I mean, if your problem in your area, your drug epidemic in your area is such a problem to where, like, even the dealers are like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be dealing this meth so much because look at this, man. Like, the moms, the kids, the dads, they're all fucked. They're all fucked. Everything's fucked. Have you noticed that? Yeah, with the harder drugs, like meth, crack, heroin, you could say cocaine, I guess. But it's like, yeah, you could say an individual, when they use it, they're only harming themselves. It depends, though. I mean, if they have a family and they have kids, well, And if the mom is shooting up heroin, or the mom's smoking meth or injecting meth, where are the kids at? Is she supposed to be taking care of the kids? How old are the kids? Are they 1 year old, or they need some help there, diaper change and stuff like that? Where's the mom at when she's doing this? Is she at a dope house with some other people, and when she's high, some other strangers are supposed to take care of the 1 year old? Like, what's going on here? Not a safe place, not an ideal place for a toddler, right? So could you say, is it just a individual victim there, victimless crime, no victim? No, because that use has other effects, and actually it makes it to where the mom is neglectful at that point, which then it's no longer a victimless crime at that point. There is a victim there. There's a victim from that use, if you will. But you see areas where, like fentanyl and opioid epidemics, where it totally ruins some areas in the cities. It totally destroys it. I mean, the whole libertarian idea of just like making everything legal and let people figure it out, make all drugs legal. That could only work if there's. Well, hold on. Let me ask you this: if we had it to where all drugs were legal and you could do anything you wanted, like, would we as a society just want that use be out in the open, wherever, whenever? Like, would you want someone to be shooting up heroin and drive a car? Would you want some bums high on heroin to be just there on the street? Or would you want them to be relocated to, like, I don't know, some sort of opium den for homeless people? And what about the kids? What about them? I mean, these are things that people need to think about before they go, oh, we could just make all the drugs available, whatever, There's no victim to that shit. No, you're not really thinking about it. You're not really thinking about the issue. You're not really thinking about the ramifications and all that. It's like, I mean, let's see. Yeah, even on a family level, Alucard PG brings up, like, let's say just opioid use. That does affect the family around them, affects the extended family around them as well. Let's say you have two parents, mom and dad, right? And they are addicted to opioids, and they have young kids, a 1-year-old and 3-year-old. Guess what? I guarantee you the state's going to be in their life. I guarantee you that when they're so high one day, the kids wander out, and there's a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old out wandering the neighborhood, and the cops pick them up and they try to take them back to the home, kind of guessing where the home's at, sort of how they find that they do. They find the mom and dad strung out, like, oh crap, this is not ideal, this is not good. So they're going to end up in either CPS care or in place with a relative. But even if they're placed with a relative, the state is going to be in there. The state's going to be in there. Your tax dollars paying for the state services to be in their lives, to help fix them and put them back on the right track, right? But the parents are fighting their demons. They're fighting their addiction, right? That some people just want to put out there for everybody to use. Okay, all right. Oh. Nah, man. I know this seems a little silly. I could see some people saying what I'm saying sounds a little silly because I'm over here promoting cigars and cigarettes, for kids. I'm like, might as well. But like I said, we're just talking about tobacco. We're talking about nicotine. Sure, might have some health. Might lead to some health problems. Okay, all right. But it's not going to make it to where you're like unable to speak, unable to drive, unable to walk around. It doesn't fuck your mind up. It doesn't totally take you out and make you into a zombie or some shit, you know? You're still able to function. It doesn't get you hyped up to the point to where you're like, I don't know, like the people on meth. Like it doesn't make you like them, especially when they're coming down and start seeing like shadow people and all that. No. It doesn't do that. Because now, you know, talk about drugs. Drugs, if they should be legalized across the board. I mean, I'm okay with weed. That's fine. Whatever. I don't have a problem with that. But the harder stuff like heroin, like that, if you were going to make that legal, it needs to be through an opium den, and there's no way else to, and you have to restrict access. You would have to, but at the same time have, you know, penalties for those that use outside. And that's because here's the problem. Once you start giving an inch, you know, they take a mile. It'd be like, okay, you could use heroin in these certain designated places. You could shoot up here and all that stuff. It's like, okay, but then what happens? People start shooting outside the place. And it's like, well, it's legal in there, but it's not legal out here. What's the cop going to do? Fine them? Put them in jail? Maybe. I mean, it seems silly. And I think I would have less of an issue if it was just grown-ass adults doing, and it was only affecting grown-ass adults, you know? But when you factor in kids and you know, their family, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes a problem right there. And I don't know what the solution would be other than the very strict crackdown, but people don't like that. They'd be like, oh, you talk about war on drugs? Like that was successful, right? Well, it would have been successful if they actually did it. If they actually cracked down hard, but they didn't. I mean, they let things slide. Shit, man. The way, I mean, if hypothetically, if the people back in the day were cracking down on drugs, like they were cracking down, let's say cracking down on Al Qaeda and ISIS, it would be a totally different situation, right? If the powers, if the government, if the police, if the military didn't, especially in Mexico, didn't allow themselves to be infiltrated by cartels, by that influence, and actually stood up for what they believed in, stood up to them, it would take lives, it would cause blood. But if it actually stood up and purged them, they would have won. They would have won. But they didn't even have the backbone to fight. They didn't have a backbone to do that. They'd rather take the drug money. They'd rather let the drugs go. And there you go. Alucard BG, you're right. Cigars do have benefits. We talked about that. Just briefly. A cigar with nicotine, yeah, it does elevate your heart rate a bit. But you know what's odd with that is that has people think, oh, is that gonna make you like is it gonna be bad for you? Is like your heart gonna be beating your chest? Oh no. We're not talking crazy meth stuff. We're not talking cocaine either. We're talking it's gonna elevate your heart rate. You're gonna be more aware. Your sensory is gonna be more aware. You'll be processing information a little bit. Make it sound like you're processing faster. It's just, dude, it eases tension. It relaxes you. It kind of sharpens the mind a bit. And when you combine that with just, take an hour or 2 hours to smoke that cigar, to really think about what's going on in your life, it could also have a sort of therapeutic benefit to it. Let's see, Alec RPG says, as I said before, see how well mass drug use worked in China during the 18th and 19th centuries. Yeah, they had an opium problem, didn't they? But they also now have a pretty strict policy. You know what's funny too? I've been paying attention that China does to them opposite what they do for us. Like China pays or gives money to our universities in the States and the US to push educational crap that demonizes men. That makes masculinity like a bad thing. While they push in China information and stuff that encourages masculinity. They want us softened. They want us softened. They want us full of soy. They want us weak. They want our military to be attacking its own. They want to put us in a position where if we did want to stop them on anything, we wouldn't be able to. And so far, they're winning that front. What I do with that? What can you do? You just sort of, yeah, all right. Enjoy a cigar. Realize that situation's bad, but maybe we'll come out of it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But yeah, let me continue on with the smokers hospitalized less often for COVID-19. It's true. Let's see. Let me read into this a little bit. All right. So in this article here, it says few of those hospitalized with coronavirus are smokers, and researchers are trying to understand why, according to Vice. One hypothesis is that nicotine, which has anti-inflammatory properties, may interfere with the way COVID-19 causes an overreaction of the immune system. There you go. Nicotine saving the day. I need a nicotine. Hey, you want more antidotes? I'll give you antidotes. My wife had COVID. I don't live in a big house. 3-bedroom house. Bedroom for me and my wife. Bedroom for the kids. So how in the world? My wife was in the bedroom, pretty much quarantined there, but she would come out. She would wear a mask, whatever, sometimes. But how did I get by not getting the coronavirus? My wife had COVID. I don't have COVID. I didn't have COVID. Maybe the force field of nicotine, the force field of tobacco shielded me from the virus. I don't know. I can't tell you 100%. I'm not a scientist. Alec RPG, good question. Is it really them doing it, or are we doing it to ourselves? There are some articles there that show that China does give money to the universities, but I think we are already doing it ourselves as well. Like I look at, I'm going back to like the rise of the third wave feminism, or the feminism, the variation where like men are just toxic and evil. All men are evil. Like the Anita Sarkeesians. I hate that fucking name. I hate saying that fucking name. The Anita Sarkeesians, those people Were they funded by China? No. I don't think so. No. What? Show me the receipts on that. They're just funded because of other woke individuals got on that bandwagon. And there's a bunch of woke stuff in college. A bunch of woke stuff being preached in college, man. It's crazy. You go in there and you see it. So I think it might be a combination of both. If I was going to make a safe bet. But I would say that we need to turn it around. And the way we could turn it around are for those that are willing and able to put out good content. Good content with strong male characters. Okay, I get, sure, people want strong female characters. Sure, have that. But dude, it is important to have that. It is important to have shows and movies out there that promote strong men, that promote masculinity. That's good to have. We can have both. It doesn't have to be one extreme or the other extreme. It can be both. As far as, because the reason I'm talking about at least creating content, that's something we can control. Controlling the universities of what they teach, good luck on that. I don't know how you're supposed to impact that. I don't know how you get it to where professors will try to be more open-minded and teach something that's not so evil towards men, not so hated towards men. I mean, it's like downright hate men. As if men were like the worst thing ever. Are you kidding me? Come on now. I've seen how women treat women, especially nowadays. Oh, of course, it's not anything new, really. It's been going on for a while. I mean, catty bitches always been catty bitches to each other. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about. The mean girl thing, that thing's been around since the dawn of time as well. But women hold each other down a lot more than men do. Shit. Fuck. Worry about a patriarchy. They need to be worried about the fact that their sisterhood isn't as united as they think. Let's see. Read this article a little bit more. Let's see. The hypothesis for this, the nicotine. Nicotine shielding you from the COVID-19. The hypothesis comes from Konstantinos Farsalinos, a cardiologist in Greece, who focuses on tobacco use reduction. Oh, interesting. Farsalinos noticed a few COVID-19 patients who were hospitalized in China were smokers. And there's a lot of smoking in China. Whoa, hold on here. China going through the coronavirus was pretty a big deal. Like we on this channel, we saw the videos, people dropping like flies over there, and hospitals being filled up, body bags just everywhere, just lining the halls. They smoke like crazy amount of tobacco over there. And of course they breathe in toxic air. I mean, whatever. I like RPG. What you bring up? Yeah, good point. Good point. So yeah, China might see that. Well, what China is doing is a thing of subversion. There's an essay or a lecture I was listening to from, I can't remember the guy's name. He was an ex-KGB, a Soviet guy. And he was talking about how instead of invading a country with military force, military might, and expecting that, the remnants to just to listen and obey. The easier thing to do would be to subvert, would be to put in information, pretty much use the strength of a particular nation against itself. So America, free speech. Okay. All right. So, and look at its weaknesses, like let's say racism. Look at its very sensitive spot, like race issues, gender issues, and really exaggerate those. Encourage universities to promote an education on things that don't matter, like education gender issues, which doesn't matter. Critical race theory stuff, which doesn't matter, is not going to have an outcome that's going to be beneficial, because what is the outcome? There is no outcome other than just tearing things down. And of course, this professor, he explained it a lot better than I can. In Alcor PG, if the roles were reversed, I suspect we would act in a similar manner. We do, but we have a tendency, what we're doing with like the Middle East, we did with Iraq, we go there and we invade, we topple, and then we install someone, we expect to do our thing and expect that to work for us. It'd be like, oh, we're planting the seeds of democracy. We do that as well. Like, America has toppled regimes and installed puppet governments that would do our thing, right? We just call it spreading democracy. But we use our military might with that. We use various military tactics with that. This, which China's doing, if it is China, I think it is. Well, what they're doing is, it's much softer, man. Like, you don't even know it's happening. You don't even know what's happening. That's what's crazy. Yuri, that's right. That's the guy's name, Yuri. Yuri, yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. Smart motherfucker. And the way he talked about it, it was just like, oh, you know what? Let me play part of that lecture. I could do that. Play part of it. Because what he was talking about, even though it was back in the 80s or something, it was still relevant now. Very relevant now. It's like, I can't believe how relevant this is. He's like talking. It's like he predicted. He predicted the future. He predicted the future. All right, one moment. Let's see if I can find the video I'm looking for. I think it might be this one. Lecture on subversion. What is this site? I've never seen this site before.
Okay, I'll start with a short explanation. I'm going to show you some slides now. The things that you're going to see, there's nothing new actually. They're reproductions from various media organs in the United States, USSR. Probably you see these pictures 100 times a day. I'm going to give you a different viewpoint on the same things, same facts that you see, and probably don't take much trouble to understand and think what you are seeing. I don't know if you heard my introduction. I'm an ideological subverter. Yes, from Russia. Okay. Okay. It's the idea of showing the slides to you is just to provoke questions in your mind, and later on, if you still have patience with me, I will explain how exactly the system of ideological indoctrination and subversion works. Well, we know that we are living in a time of peace, and we know that recent walkout from the Geneva talks by the Soviets is centered around the nuclear arms and rockets. We don't see much about the Soviet preparedness, a Soviet viewpoint on the military strategy. Well, this is a selection of pictures, only pictures. Confucius said that one picture tells more than 1,000 words. These pictures are from everyday newspapers in USSR. This is what the Soviet citizen looks upon every day. Basically, this is a militaristic spirit, pictures of foreign delegates observing the rockets passing the Red Square. The idea of invasion, unlike in the United States, is not being criticized by the Soviet media at all. On the contrary, it's being forcefully encouraged from the age of, say, 5 or 6 year old. Every Soviet student or schoolboy has to go through military training. This is a picture from...
You know, I wonder if that's something that's going to happen. With all these people wanting socialism and all that, I don't see Biden just... Look at how the Democrats are dragging their feet on just putting out a $2,000 stimulus check. Now it's going to be $1,400, whatever. You know, they have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency. Right now, they have everything. There's no resistance. They could just pass whatever they want to pass. I mean, what I was saying, what I want to get to is, what if in the future, like a couple of years, there's like, you know, really, if you want health care, all that, join the military, whatever, you know, increase the, you know, the military force. That would be interesting. That'd be weird. That'd be a weird play. Kind of out there. I don't really see it happening. But then again, maybe it will. Maybe this 60-day standstill with the military, and they purging the white supremacists. Then they're like, well, we pretty much got rid of all of our military, so now we need more guys. Hey, Antifa, you wanna fly the planes now? You know, Jesus Christ.
Special military school where young kids, well, maybe 4 or 5 years old, are being trained to be future officers of the Soviet army. That's what they do when they grow up. These are the Soviet sailors, Navy officers in a foreign country. We criticize a lot American presence in foreign countries, but we never criticize and we never pay too much attention about these planes landing with ammunition and...
This isn't the lecture, though. This isn't the one. Let me get that one, because he spells it out in a way that makes it's like, oh my God, he's talking about now. Because he actually names the institutions. He's like, what you do with subversion is you get your enemy to hate themselves by targeting universities. You through these, you educate them. You Oh, the stream glitch for a second. You put information out there that gets your enemy to hate themselves, whether it be because of race, whether it be you get it to where they hate the police, you get it to where they hate the military, they hate their government. You target that. They hate each other because of gender. You target that, and you encourage that. You inflame that. Because if you can get it to where that country fights their own, then you don't have to worry about attacking them. In fact, if anything, through the universities, through that, putting that information out there, especially on the internet and all that. Of course, the internet didn't exist like it does now in Yuri's day. So you don't need to target universities now. I mean, we do missile strikes. We do drone strikes. A place like China, they do like memes. I don't know, man. They do like influence. Shit, it's crazy. Only time media praise Trump is when he attacks Syria. That's right. That's right. and we're going back. We're going back into Syria. We're going back into. We went back in Syria the day Biden took presidency. The day he sat in that Oval Office is a day. Actually, we went right back in there as if ready, waiting for it to happen. Of course they were. Of course they were. The military-industrial complex knows what's happening. I think they're the ones that are running the show. That's why I think those that say, Biden's can do whatever China wants. Maybe, sure, maybe he'll be soft, but I don't think the CIA is just gonna just. I don't see the generals being like, wait, we can't do anything. What do you mean? We have warships over there. We could do stuff. We could shoot them. We could start engagement. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see. This 2021 is going to be interesting, man. Let me see if I can find that subversion video, because the way he explained it was pretty cool. I was like, what? Subversion. Oh, it was this one right here. It is a long lecture too. Yeah, it's a long lecture, but we don't need to watch part of it. If it will load.
Subversion is the term, if you look in it.
Okay, yeah. So this is like an hour long. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, okay? We're going to cut through parts of it, okay?
In a dictionary or criminal code to that matter, usually is explained as a part of activity to destroy things like religion, government system, political, economical system of a country. And usually it's linked to espionage and such romantic things as blowing up bridges, sidetracking trains, cloak and dagger activity in Hollywood style.
All right, I'll pause it there. Yeah, so he explains that's the old way people look at subversion, like it's espionage, James Bond stuff. But then you'll start writing it down here. Start writing down. I think this is when he starts.
Two-way traffic. United States is a receptive target of subversion. There is no response similar to that one from United States to the Soviet Union. It stops halfway somewhere. It never reaches here.
So yeah, so we don't really subvert.
The theory of subversion goes all the way back 2,500 years ago. The first human being who formulated the tactics of subversion was a Chinese philosopher by the name of Sun Tzu. To 2,500 years BC. He was an advisor for several imperial courts in ancient China.
Ancient China.
And he
ancient
said,
Chinese
after
secret.
Long meditation, that to implement state policy in a warlike manner, it's the most counterproductive, barbaric, and inefficient to fight on a battlefield. You know that war is continuation of state policy, right? So if you want successfully to implement your state policy and you start fighting, this is the most idiotic way to do it. The highest art of warfare is not to fight at all. but to subvert anything of value in the country of your enemy, until such time that the perception of reality of your enemy is screwed up to such an extent that he does not perceive you as an enemy, and that your system, your civilization, and your ambitions look to your enemy as an alternative, if not desirable.
Yeah, I could see that. What I heard today, this is the first news I heard about it today, that apparently while we're getting all this like woke stuff here in the States, in China they don't push that stuff. In China they push masculinity, they push they understand genders. You know, hey, you know what? It's actually kind of looking a little better. It's like, hey, wait, what would happen if China just took over? I'm messing.
Then at least visible. Better red than dead. That's the ultimate purpose, the final stage of subversion, after which you can simply take your enemy without a single shot being fired, if the subversion is successful. This is basically what subversion is. As you see, not a single mentioning of blowing up bridges. Of course, Sun Tzu didn't know about blowing up bridges. Maybe there were not that many bridges at that time. But the basics of subversion is being taught to every student of KGB school in USSR and to officers of military academies. I'm not sure if the same author is included in the ring for American officers, to say nothing about ordinary students of political science. I had difficulty to find the translation of Sun Tzu in the library of a university in Toronto and later on here in Los Angeles. But it's a book which is not available. It is forced to every student in USSR. Every student who is taught to be dealing further in his future career with foreigners. What subversion is? Basically, it consists of 4 periods, time-wise. If we start from here and go this way, time, right? This is the beginning point. The first stage of subversion
this part's
is
important.
The process which is called, basically, demoralization. It says for itself what it is. It takes from, say, 15 to 20 years to demoralize a society. Why 15 or 20 years? This is the time sufficient to educate one generation of students or children. One generation. One life.
So think about what he's saying there. I know ex-KGB, he's talking about this from the Soviet perspective, but keep in mind that we've learned that definitely China does influence our universities to promote certain things, and we have universities promoting a lot of. When I was in college, they were promoting Marxist crap. They probably did the same for you as well. Okay.
Lifetime span of a person, a human being, which is dedicated to study, to shaping up the outlook, ideology, personality. No more, no less. Usually it takes from 15 to 20 years. What it includes? It includes influencing, or by various methods, infiltration, propaganda methods, direct contacts, doesn't really matter. I will describe them later. Of various areas where public opinion is formulated or shaped. Religion, educational system, social life, administration, law enforcement system, military, of course, and labor and employer relations, economy. Okay? 5 areas. I will not write them down because we will not have enough space. Sometimes when I describe all the methods, students ask me question, Are you sure this is the result of the Soviet influence? Not necessarily. You see, the tactic of subversion, about which I'm talking, is similar to the martial art, the Japanese martial art.
And this part's important too, because it may not be 100% totally like Chinese influence. Okay, just a seed of it, just part of it. But he'll tell you with this sort of a metaphor, this analogy, we draw some thoughts from parallels.
If some of you are familiar with that tactic, probably you will remember that if an enemy is bigger and heavier than yourself, it would be very painful to resist his direct strike. If a heavier person wants to strike me in the face, it would be very naive and counterproductive to stop his blow. The Chinese and Japanese judo art tells us what to do. First to avoid the strike, then to grab the fist and continue his movement in the direction where it was before, right? Until the enemy crashes in the wall. You see? So, what happens?